What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and this is a video. I just got done streaming, so I have my VOD in the background here. But this is right after the new patch that came out that changed how stress healing works, and it changed some of the fights. So there will be some spoilers in the video, so if you don't want to see those, then I understand. But as always, if you enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe, all the normal stuff. Check out the box for all the cool links like Discord, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and my Epic Game Store code. Good stuff. Alright, so for this, let's see. So I have some thoughts. Overall, I like the patch. I like it a lot. It feels different in a lot of ways, but then it just doesn't feel like anything changed, really. So I'm just gonna play this in the background so you have something to watch here. But let's see, something I don't like is the double ghoul fights. I was talking about how I never get it, and then I finally got it this time, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, double ghoul is really stupid. It just shouldn't get dodged. Even with this is biome 1, by the way, when I picked this up. So like I get this fight, and it's just a big pain in the butt. But for the rest of the stuff as a whole, I think the change to the stress healing stuff is pretty good overall. I kind of don't like that you have to stay at 4 stress, but Jester by himself is usually good enough to carry the stress healing burden, so that was nice. I didn't upgrade Ounce of Prevention until like the very end, and that was just for, you know, help. So I didn't really need that. But we had, let's see, Deacons are a nightmare. Deacons are much harder. So they got the buff where they cleanse dots and stuff like that from the cherubs, and they're just jerks. So if Deacons are supposed to be harder than certain bosses, then maybe they are, you know, or they feel that way now. So that sucked, but overall it's good. But it's funny, Deacon is more threatening than Cardinal, which I don't understand. Like when I got to the mountain, I was fighting Cardinals, and I was happy I didn't see Deacon. So that goes to show you the difference there. With, let's see, I dealt with the elite modifier being up to, I believe, 20% damage. That was pretty dangerous. Frenzy, 25% damage. Those were very difficult. But, you know, we made it through. I beat this run, so spoilers, but it was my first run on the new content. I beat it. And double ghoul, I'm just looking at this again. It's so bad. So the things that really stick out is something needs to be done about stuns. The player can't really get stuns easily anymore, which is fine. But the enemies that can stun, like, they can just stun lock you. Like the double ghoul skull toss type of stuff is really bad. The final boss with the stuns is really, really annoying. That fight does not need that many stuns, you know? Like, I gave Leper the stun resist, the stun resist in item, and he was still getting stunned. Plague Doctor had like 3 consecutive turns where she was stunned, and your cooldowns don't go down when you're stunned. I don't know if that's intended or what, but so I used Indiscriminate Science, I think, and then my Plague Doctor got stunned, and she was stunned for 3 turns straight. And then after she came out of stun, she still couldn't use Indiscriminate Science because she had to take a normal turn. So it was really annoying. I'll talk about the final boss more later, but the stress healing stuff, I'm a bit worried just because it really makes it feel like you almost are forced to use Jester. I don't like saying characters are required, but Jester definitely feels the best as the stress healer, just seeing the numbers, you know. So we have Jester, and let's see what else happened. So Deacon got buffed, the stress healing got changed. The take aim, oh, there it is. Just thought of it at the same time. So take aim getting changed, that was a good change. It felt too strong before. It's still pretty strong, honestly, but it's good enough where it's at, so that was nice. I like the relationship changes. It didn't feel like they were as spammy. They still popped up frequently, so that happened. But they didn't feel as spam-tastic as they were. And what was also nice was that they have that, the effects of them have gotten stronger. So I was able to keep positive relation like the entire way. So it felt like a pretty normal type of run. Oh, ghouls eat your torch. That's something else I'm really just not happy with about this fight. I think I went into this fight at like 40 torch or so. As you can see my torch up here, right? And so the longer this fight goes on, my torch just drains. Yeah. So that was just, look at, I went to here, I leave this fight at 0 torch. And I get the Cultist Road fight right after. Like that is so bad. That needs, no. Ghouls, okay, so we're gonna talk about ghouls. Ghouls don't need dodge tokens. Ghouls maybe need block tokens, that's fine. There should not be a double ghoul mash, and they should not eat torch with Howl. Just those things need to go. Just full stop. And if you're gonna keep double ghoul as a fight, it can't be in biome 1. This was biome 1 when I got the double ghoul fight. So it, like I fully intend to write something to Red Hook in one of their feedback sections for this, but it's bad. It's just bad. It doesn't feel like this is supposed to be hard, you know, and like make you bang your head against the wall kind of thing. It just feels like not even unfair design. It just feels really, really bad to deal with that, because you can't retreat, so you have to deal with the double ghouls. The fight doesn't end in 5 turns, and they sit there and spam Howl and just eat all your torch, and you have to kill both of them. All those things are bad. So, anyway, that's cool. But with the relationship stuff, like the act outs where you can heal your teammates and stuff, those are pretty cool. I think you can give them new tokens. Maybe they changed that too, or maybe it's always the same tokens. I can't remember. But I remember my team handing out like block tokens, I believe, to other people, which was fun. The stress healing for like, you know, being happy that someone did something, I believe was 2 instead of 1. That was really cool. The healing from, I think, Amorous was much stronger. So I remember Leper got healed by Amorous for like 29, and other people were getting for like 12 or 14 or something like that. So the relationship stuff in the positive direction is very good. I think that kind of also is, it may not be good in the long run. Like, it's nice to see it, but one of the issues with relationships is that they're very like swing prone. Like it can go either way, and depending on which way it goes, if it's negative, it feels like you almost can't win sometimes, and if it's positive, it feels like you can't lose. So like once I got this team all up to positive relationships, like I was chilling. I fought 2 bosses, I believe, this run. I didn't fight Harvest Child, and then I fought the last boss. So the only things that really still felt, everything felt pretty much normal overall. The only things I really had trouble with are Deacons and the final boss. So like I said, we'll talk about the final boss later, but yeah, so relationship stuff, I think it's in an okay place. I think that the thing for stress, I really think that if the threshold's going to be 5, I think the negative act outs need to start like popping up at 5 instead of 4. But I don't know, I guess that's by design. Like, it feels like they want to keep you at 4, so even though it's mostly going to go in your favor, it still has a chance of not going in your favor. But otherwise, I don't know, it was all right. Then, like I said, Jester being able to heal from 5 was great. I think that's a great change. And then Jester with the upgraded Inspiring Tune. I upgraded that thing first, I believe, just in case. And being able to put people back down to 2 stress, like every other turn, was good. And it didn't feel like you needed it all the time, except for literally the end fight. So overall, good set of changes so far. The game is definitely tougher than it was. Cherubs, you cannot disrespect cherubs anymore. So this is definitely going back to some Darkest Dungeon 1 type of feeling, where you have to basically kill the squishy backline enemies, which maybe that was by design, I guess. But you definitely can't disrespect cherubs. If there's a Deacon, you have to kill cherub now. You just can't skip it. So the Evangelist, you can still, if there's no Deacon in the fight, so if it's like the 2 Evangelists, 2 cherub fight, you can still kill the Evangelist, so that's fine. But the cherubs are really annoying now with how they act. So like I said, the rest of it didn't really change. I fought an Antiquarian. I got the lower gold trinket is nice. I think 35 is a good cutoff. That's fine. So let's see what else was there. I didn't try every hero, obviously. I just played 4 out of the 9. Yeah, so I think the big stuff was relationships, Deacons, ghouls, the final boss. So what's left to talk about? I guess it's the final boss. Yeah, I don't want this video to be too long. So the final boss, I don't like it. I straight up just don't like it. I like that they get little bonuses as they start dying, like each piece starts dying. I think that's fine. but the bonus HP on that fight just makes that fight drag on way too long. It goes way too freaking long. And since the locks will heal each other when one dies, you can't just burn them all at the same time and go strategy like that. Instead, it's just literally you have to focus fire one at a time. So the strategic element of the fight has not changed. When you do that fight, you still have to most likely kill the lion lock first, so your melee doesn't get locked, and then probably the health one, because you're going to be at death's door by the time you get through 2 of them. And then after that, probably the range one, and then the stress one. That seems to be like the best order to kill them in, and that hasn't changed at all. The fact that they, what is it? There's something, I believe it said that if they use their denial ability, so if like one blocks your range attacks, the other 3, when there's 4 up, have to go before the first one can go again. And I had the same one that went on turn 1 go on turn 3, I believe. So that didn't feel like it was supposed to be that way. And also, what else? I don't know why they get a damage bonus. Like when you kill the first one, they all get like 20% bonus damage. They hit hard enough. I'm really struggling to see how you're supposed to do this fight, the final fight, without Plague Doctor now. And I don't like to say any character's mandatory, so I still don't want to say Plague Doctor's mandatory. But that fight specifically was like, I had Leper able to keep himself alive because it's Leper. I had Highwayman just stacking dodge as much as he could with take aim, like take aim plus spam. Jester was able to give himself some dodge and blind the enemies. But that, like, even though I had all of that, once I killed the first lock, I was just riding Death's Door with like 2 characters the rest of the fight. And I luckily had some Death Blow resist potions, so I started using those. And that's how I survived it for a long time anyway. I still lost someone. I lost Jester at the end. But I beat it with 3 people still alive. And with how long that fight is, with how many negative tokens they start throwing out, and this is before we even talk about stuns. Hold on to your hats with stuns. But before we even start talking about, you know, I'm going to go to the final boss, so spoilers, right? It's going to zip ahead here. So this fight is way more brutal now than it was. So the, like the stress, surprisingly still kind of manageable, at least with Jester. But I don't know how you survive this, honestly, without Plague Doctor and like Indiscriminate Medicine. Because unless you have a bunch of healing items, which also would make sense. So the only reason is just because once you kill the first one, they start hitting so hard that you just can't get off Death's Door consistently with like other healing abilities. You know, like what are you gonna use? Occultist and spam Reconstruction? No. Are you like Runaway can't heal anyone? Your self heals are limited. Plague Doctor's Battlefield Medicine is limited. And Indiscriminate Science is a very, 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 very strong ability. And if you're not using it, you should be. That move is very strong. Like especially upgraded. Even eating your own positive tokens before it's upgraded is still good sometimes. And the reason it's even better, especially in a fight like this, is because the enemies just keep throwing out negative tokens at you. Since they're doing that, Indiscriminate Science can eat the negative tokens and also heal you for a lot, like half your HP every time it happens. But also Indiscriminate Science can cleanse stun. Stun's considered a token, so being able to get rid of that is nice. But the fight drags on for too long, and I feel like it's something I want to hear the philosophy behind. Because if this is the way it's supposed to be, if they're saying, yeah, you're supposed to ride Death's Door the entire fight, you're supposed to just sit on Death's Door after like turn 5, and that is the fight. If they told me that, I would go, okay. And I keep forgetting that you can pass to heal, so that's another option, I guess. So I guess if you had a stress healer and you just passed on Death's Door, then that would be okay. But the stuns are ridiculous. Like, you can probably see it in the background footage. I'll upload this to YouTube at some point, I think. But the stuns are just, they're too much. Like, all of them, I believe, can stun now. And since there's no stun resist buff like Darkest Dungeon 1, so when you recover from a stun in DD1, you get like a 40% stun resist buff for the next turn, just so you don't get chain stun and, you know, stun locked or whatever you want to call it. And this can happen in this game. There's a part in this fight where my Plague Doctor is stunned for 3 turns straight. She just doesn't get to do anything. And the other thing that happens too is when, I think this is the part too, when you are stunned, your buffs don't tick down and your cooldowns don't tick down. So this Plague Doctor was stunned for 3 turns with Indiscriminate Medicine, not Indiscriminate, yeah, Indiscriminate Medicine was still on cooldown, so she couldn't use it. And then Ounce of Prevention was also up. She kept the buff for like 5 turns. Everyone else loses it at some point, and she still has it for like 2 turns when she finally comes out of stun. But like right here, I thought that I was pretty safe because I got rid of the Lion Lock, but then I didn't realize they get the damage buff. So as you see, I'm just on Death's Door. Plague Doctor is tanking Death's Door. Plague Doctor is stunned for a 2nd turn now, and she's gonna get stunned again. So, oh, that was very helpful, that act out thing. But yeah, it's too much. I think the stuns need to just be toned down. Like make 2 of them stun instead of all 4 or whatever it is. Make it so that just take away the HP bonus they got. That's too much. Like for how much damage this fight puts out, and for the ability to stun lock you for as long as they can, this fight doesn't need to be this long. Like if they can do damage and stun you, then they don't need a bunch of HP. But it is the final fight, so like I said, maybe it's supposed to be this way. I don't know. But I think that's all my thoughts for right now. Overall, good patch. Very good patch. It's just the final boss is very annoying. And, you know, maybe it's supposed to be that way. I don't know. But let me know what you're thinking with the final fight. Let me know how you're doing on it. I know people have struggled. And I guess if you can beat it consistently with like 2 people left alive, I guess that's fine. But it's, I don't know. I just have issue with the stuns, basically, from the final boss. And I think that's it. So I'm going to get out of here. So thanks for watching. Next time, more stuff. I can't really think of what we're doing offhand, but that's where we're at. And I appreciate your viewership and all that. Watch me on Twitch 4 days a week, whatever. Yeah. So we're out of here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.